What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Over the course of the last few years, the PlayStation 4 has broken nearly every sales record in the world. 40 million people have already bought this machine, and I think it's for a few reasons. It's got stellar AAA releases, fantastic graphics, and maybe, most importantly, thousands of cool indie projects for us to enjoy. So this week, I want to take a special look at those, and count down my picks for the top 10 must-play PS4 indie games. Number 10. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. It's very rare for a game to be so brutally unfair, and yet exceptionally fun at the same time. In The Binding of Isaac, we play as a small boy fighting his way through floors filled with evil demonic monsters. Normally, in a title this challenging, you could just memorize all the boss patterns and beat it easy, but in Isaac, that's impossible, because every room is randomized. Each time you play, the entire experience resorts itself. You could get the best weapon and face the weakest foes, or have it the other way around, getting the fiercest beast showing up right at the start when you're not properly armed. It's surprisingly addictive, trying over and over again, hoping that you can get even one floor deeper in this bloody maze. Number 9. SOMA. Real, true fear can be tough to build into a game. Everyone is afraid of different things, so capturing something dark that gives people nightmares is a complicated talent. Luckily, the developers behind SOMA have a long history of crafting scary hallways, strange creatures, and instilling a sense of terror that stays with you long after you shut off the game. What really haunted me the longest was the philosophical question at the center of everything. We're trapped in a deep ocean lab with murderous robots, some of which believe they're human. These cyborgs have names, memories, and even think of themselves as regular people. Sometimes the only way forward was to break these machines down, and it made me wonder if maybe I was worse than the mechanical monsters that were pursuing me. Number 8. Hyper Light Drifter. Imagine if someone set out to remake Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, except with a crazy neon art style, futuristic technology, and massive enemies. What you might end up with is Hyper Light Drifter. We play as a mysterious warrior left wandering in a destroyed world. All around you are crumbling buildings, partially standing homes, and a constant feeling that the battle is already lost. When others would give up though, the Drifter just fights harder. Much of the gameplay is about mastering his teleportation abilities to take on huge bosses. Combat can be a delicate dance, knowing when to strike, when to shoot, and when you just need to run away to avoid being crushed into gooey bits. While the central story is interesting, where Hyperlight shines brightest is when it's you alone with a big nasty beast and you know that your only options are win flawlessly or die terribly. Number 7. The Witness. A secret island, a series of difficult puzzles, and a single door that blocks your way from understanding the meaning of this place. This is what lies at the core of The Witness. The lead designer, Jonathan Blow, once described the game as learning a new language, one comprised entirely of puzzles, and really, this sums up what makes the game so stellar. We're free to explore the island at our own pace, but each area has intricate problems that need to be solved to continue. At the beginning, things can be almost overwhelming because you have so many paths. As you unlock more solutions and grow a greater understanding of how this place operates, a bizarre rhythm sets in. You aren't necessarily gaining new skills, so much as training your mind to see issues in new ways. By the time you reach the final zone, you're fluent in a style of puzzle solving unlike anything else ever seen before. Number 6. Enter the Gungeon. I've never been great at bullet hell games. Swimming through so many thousands of shots can often leave me exhausted, but somehow Enter the Gungeon manages to be ultra tough and hilariously entertaining at the same time. Our hero lives in a land where only one thing matters: guns. They're more than just tools for killing bad guys. Here, they're essentially a way of life. After a giant bullet falls from the sky and blows up their most sacred gun palace, they decide that they need to delve into the depths of the legendary Gungeon and find an artifact that'll let them murder the past. Alright, honestly, the plot is too silly to make sense, but the shooting is so awesome that you don't have a chance to care. With all the different gadgets to find and upgrade, along with the diverse cast of minions that are firing back at you, there are few moments to catch your breath. Be ready to aim carefully, reload quickly, and die a lot. Number 5. Rocket League. Even if you aren't a fan of sports, here we have a project that really anyone can enjoy. Rocket League is basically soccer, except instead of having a few dudes running around in a field, it's all about jet-powered cars. By using your boosters, you can blast your vehicle across the turf and slam the enormous ball into the goal. If you want to be extra fancy, it's possible in mid-flight to tap the jump button a second time and make yourself spin. Using this mechanic, you can flip forward and spike the ball at high speeds to score. The pure simplicity of Rocket League is part of what makes it so fantastic. Anyone can jump into a match and be knocking a ball around in minutes. The more you play, the more you improve your driving skills and get extra skins for your car. Equipping shiny paint jobs and flags with neat logos makes your vehicle truly one of a kind, which helps the enemy team remember you all the better when you're skidding around the track and scoring on them. Number 4. Transistor. Two things that aren't easy to combine are well-paced storytelling and detailed strategy. If you focus too much on making skirmishes unique, it can leave your plot feeling incomplete. The same goes for the other way around. Too many cutscenes or too much talking can make gameplay seem like an afterthought. Transistor walks a fine line and nails both of these facets of gaming stunningly. We take on the role of a woman lost and on the run. When she discovers a talking sword that promises to help her, their journey to saving the world begins. Describing the combat is rather strange because you can customize so much about it. It's sort of a turn-based RPG, like a glowing version of Final Fantasy Tactics. You pick which moves you want to take into battle, and depending on how you set them up, reflects how situations can unfold. Being able to alter every strategic aspect of battle was epic, and even 15 hours into the adventure, I still felt like there was always a deeper level of gameplay I was just scratching the surface of. Number 3. Salt and Sanctuary. Dark Souls is a series that grew to immense popularity because it can be mind-rendingly punishing, but it's always 100% fair. No death in these games ever felt misbalanced or poorly done. Salt and Sanctuary may have a 2D style, but it's very much the same experience in spirit. When some wretched demons steal your princess, you need to gear up and set out on your quest. It's our job to wander this shadowy land and track her down. While things appear very dreary and overcast, there's an odd sense of energy that permeates the gameplay. Fights are frantic. Avoiding pitfalls and dueling monsters in the darkness feels dramatic and really gets your blood pumping. Even small encounters can't be taken lightly because as soon as you let your guard down, you can easily be defeated. You also need to keep aware of your surroundings. With so many twists and turns in this Castlevania-like prison, you might just find yourself on the bad end of some very angry monsters. Number 2. Shovel Knight. Strength, justice, and a really sharp shovel. These are the keys to honoring the call of knighthood. Well, shovel knighthood anyways. Just looking at the graphics, you might expect this to be some retro port of a rad Super Nintendo game, but this is in fact a passion project made just recently. The developers over at Yacht Club thought that there was a severe lack of good action platformers, and rather than complain about it, they decided to craft a masterpiece of their own. It almost reminds me of Mega Man if the Blue Bomber left behind his blaster and picked up a sweet suit of armor. What makes this game so incredible is the controls being so tight. Jumping, dodging, and shoveling foes requires timing and precision, but everything works so well that you instantly feel like a master. It's the old school classic we always wanted, just brought to the modern era. I particularly loved all the hidden stuff. It's a game that truly rewards your curiosity. Whether you're checking every corner or doing an all-out speedrun, it's non-stop excitement. Number 1. Octodad, Dadliest Catch. This is a game that I think perfectly sums up the best of what an indie game can be. It's goofy, doesn't make much sense, and yet is completely hysterical to play. In Octodad, you're filling the suit of an octopus that's somehow been living on land for the last decade, pretending to be a human. Don't ask me how, but he even has a wife and kids who are totally normal, despite his oceanic DNA. Gameplay is all about doing typical everyday tasks. Grocery shopping, mowing the lawn, or maybe going to the aquarium. Making an 8-legged cephalopod move in a human way is far more complicated than it sounds. Each part of your controller moves a section of his body. Just reaching for an apple in a store can be a ridiculous task that could lead you causing a huge mess. Octodad works so well because really the worse you are at it, the funnier it is. Being confused and screwing things up is really the whole point. For its uniqueness, silly animations, and downright absurd storyline, I am awarding this my pick as the PS4 indie game everyone should play. Did your favorite indie game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Giant trucks just driving by all day. You know what? I gotta go work on my No Man's Sky review, so excuse me while I go to the deepest reaches of space. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.